Welcome back to The Count. I'm Lidia Curanaj. Now to story number 6 on our countdown. Republicans take control. President Trump made his triumphant return to the White House on Wednesday, where he was greeted by a smiling Joe Biden. I don't think we've seen Joe Biden this happy without an ice cream cone in his hand in a very long time. They both vowed to help make the transition as smooth as possible. Trump also visited the Capitol, where Republicans will have control of both chambers of Congress. So with President Trump in the White House and Republican majorities in both the House and Senate, will it be smooth sailing for Trump's agenda, or will he run into some obstacles? Joining us now to discuss, former Georgia Republican Congressman Jack Kingston, also with us, politics editor for the Daily Signal, Bradley Devlin. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thanks, Lydia.
Congressman, with Mitch McConnell finally out of the way, John Thune was voted as a new Senate Majority Leader this week. Thune hasn't always seen eye to eye with Trump on the MAGA agenda. Let's take a listen to this.
It's a new day in the United States Senate, and it's a new day in America. The American people have loudly rejected the failed policies of the Biden, Harris, Schumer agenda. And this Republican team is united. We are on one team. We are excited to reclaim the majority and to get to work with our colleagues in the House to enact President Trump's agenda. We have a mandate from the American people, a mandate not only to clean up the mess left by the Biden, Harris, Schumer agenda, but also to deliver on President Trump's priorities.
Congressman, does he deliver on Trump's priorities? What do you think? Will he go along with what the president wants?
He absolutely will. And I want to say, you look at that team of the 6 senators that were in that frame. I served in the House with 5 of them. I know that they are dedicated to smaller government and all the MAGA principles of putting America first. I think John Thune is going to be very, very effective. I think Mike Johnson will too. But I want to say this. The agenda has to be laid out very clearly, which it is. When I served, whenever we had a good agenda, we got things done. Whenever we were kind of going from pillar to post, not knowing what to do first, we did not get it done. But in this case, we know we got to secure the border. We got to renew the very important Trump tax package, which is expiring this year. We know we have to have energy policy so that we can bring down the price of fuel and other things in America. And Trump can do so much of this by executive order. And then finally, of course, and not finally in terms of priority, but get all the nominees through, because you have to have that done. And I think John Thune will hit the ground running as respects that. I'm taking him for his word. He is dedicated for this. I know John very well. I think he's going to be very, very effective.
Now, Bradley, you wrote a piece for the Daily Signal this week after an interview, a Republican Capitol insider, who says that even with the House and Senate, Trump faces a tough fight, and says conservatives cannot waste it. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I think that the House and Senate are going to be tested, and it's good that they will be tested, because in 2016, when Trump won, the GOP Senate and GOP House kind of pushed that to the side and said, well, Trump won, but I guess that's just kind of an abnormality. We were elected despite of Trump and despite of his eccentricities. They can't say that again in 2024. The mandate was clear. A Republican presidential candidate won the popular vote for the first time in 20 years. They need to effectuate the president's agenda. And that starts with what? Getting his nominations through the Senate. If Johnson were to stand up and prevent the House Ethics Committee from going to the Senate, I think that could be beneficial. Why? Because you had the Biden DOJ looking into this, and the Biden DOJ is not alien to prosecuting its political opponents. And even they declined to prosecute on this issue. So hopefully recess appointments and the appointment of some of the more controversial picks that Trump has made so far will prove whether or not John Thune and Mike Johnson are serious about effectuating the president's agenda.
When you talk about disruptive Democrats, you have to talk about Nancy Pelosi, and Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman he's calling out Nancy Pelosi for her hypocrisy. She's been blaming Joe Biden for the Dems losing. Fetterman's whole Politico that Pelosi, quote, embraced this. She's the godmother, she's the enforcer, and now she's blaming Biden. Well, you can't have it both ways. You got what you wanted, and now you're still blaming Biden. He also went on to say, I think it's really ironic that you have a woman at age 84, and she's still hanging on. Why not give a younger generation an opportunity to occupy that seat? Now, Congressman, as you well know, Crying Nancy, she was crying at Kamala's concession speech. She had just filed paperwork to run for another term for in the 2026 midterm. She'll be a vibrant, right? 86 years old. What do you think about how hypocritical Fancy Nancy is?
Well, number one, when the Democrats are fighting among themselves, I do not want to interfere at all. So I love it. It's fun to watch. She has the right to run. She's 84 years old. Her district has the right to throw her out. Let them make that decision. But I can say this, she covered up Joe Biden and his mental deficiencies for 3.5, 4 years now. She was part of it. And also, she was part of keeping Kennedy off the ticket and keeping him off the ballot. They did not have a fair Democrat primary process, which would have revealed Biden's mental decline. And so they had a year to do that. And then once the palace coup took place, she was part of let's rush Kamala up there by acclamation rather than go through a mini convention, which was talked about, and I think supported by Barack Obama, maybe for only a few minutes. But there was that discussion, and she opposed all of that. So if there's blame to go around, she should look herself in the mirror.
Absolutely. Bradley, 30 seconds to your thoughts on Nancy Pelosi.
It's not hypocrisy, it's hierarchy. This is the modern Democratic Party. It is a party of geriatric cultural elites that don't believe in reality and the human individual. They will hold on to power until the American people take it from them. The American people took it from them this November. Right.
They actually thought that we would be swayed by Beyonce and Taylor Swift. Bradley Devlin. Congressman Kingston, when do you think the last time Beyonce bought a gallon of milk or eggs? Come on now. All right.
Hey, they were paid for that as well. That's the worst part.
I know, millions, 20 million in the red. Oh, Kamala, keep drinking up that wine. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us.